Welcome to the Mayor's Corner with Troy. I'm your host, Troy Allen, and today, we're doing our first set of shows. We're so thankful to be here, and we are glad you decided to come in and join us on this adventure. Now today, on this episode, we're going to be doing a little fun and see if we can't get your smile on today. So, give me just a second, and we'll be ready to roll. Welcome back. Let's talk about a couple of sponsors that we have. First, we'd like to talk about Sevier County Fair. This year, the intake will be on August 16th. The fair actually runs from August 28th through September 3rd. Any information that you could be looking for, you can find it at SevierCountyFair.org. Now, another sponsor we'd like to thank is Salsa Knox Latin Dance School. You can find information about them at www.salsaknox.com. They have classes every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. at the My People's Activity Center. And Bob, I believe we have a commercial for that.
Guys, I'm Waldo Solano, so you want to continue or come to try for the first time with the salsa class here in Sevierville. I can see you next week, so it will be every Tuesday, 7 to 8, alright? If you want to sign out, you can go to my website, salsanox.com. And this is where you can look for you. I understand you learned class today. One you don't know yet. Bye.
Woo, what do you think of that? I may have to just go over and sign up for a few of them fancy moves. That way I can get down in the holler and we just tear it up one good time. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that go on in my world. Might be confusing to some folk, but we just call it life. Down there in Roadkill Holler, Tennessee. If you haven't had a chance, please come by and check us out on Facebook at Life in Roadkill Holler, Tennessee, and see what we're all about. We have all kind of characters that you would not believe. Today I want to talk to you about my very best friend down in the holler, Possum Forbes. Me and old Possum, we have done some crazy stuff in our life. And ever since I've been mayor, he's always been my right-hand man. He's always took care of me and kind of watched my back. So the other day I was sitting in my office and I was kicked back and Possum come to the door and he says, "Come on, Mayor, we're going to lunch." Well, usually when he says we're going to lunch, we're just heading down to the local diner. This time he says he wants to go get some spaghetti and meatballs at the new Italian place up in the big city. Well, I'm kind of hesitant, but it being Possum and he's always been there for me, I decide we're going to go. So we walk into this place, and it's fancy. I mean, it looks just like a piece of Italy sitting there looking at you. So we sit down and we order, and we're having our meal, and this gentleman walks in. He's kind of pudgy, dressed real fancy. Possum looks at me and says, "He's probably a politician." And I said, "Well, I don't know who he is. I've never seen him before. He's carrying a briefcase. He's probably a businessman." He sits down, and after a little bit, he is sitting at his table, and we're pretty close to him. And this young lady walks up, and she's crying. And she says, "I don't know what to do. I need your help. You're the only person that can help me. And next thing you know, the gentleman raises up his briefcase. He hands her a roll of cash. She kisses his hand and he walks out the door. Possum looks at me and says, well, he's a good politician just like you. He helps his people. You ought to go over and introduce yourself to him. And I said, I'm not going to go bug that man. He's having lunch. Just sit there, Possum, and be good. A little bit later, a grown man walks up to the table, and he's crying. He's like, I'm out of work. I have no job. I have no way of paying the bills. I have kids. They're starving. I really want to start my business. The gentleman says, you know what you have to do. And he raises the briefcase, and this time he pulls out this brown envelope. He hands it to the gentleman, and the gentleman kisses him on his hand, and out the door he goes. I look over, and Possum's scratching his head and says, Mayor, I'm going to go over and tell that man a story so I can get some of that money. He's dishing out left and right. And I said, Possum, Possum. And he was up. Well, as Possum got to the man's table, he introduced himself. He said, my name's, and about that time we heard all these people in ruckus, and it said, cut, 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 cut. Will somebody explain to me who put a hillbilly in the middle of our movie? Well, before I could get out the door, Possum had done beat me to the door, was in the truck with it running and ready to go. And that's just one of them crazy things that Possum got us into. And he's been known to get us into more messes than you could ever imagine. So, Possum has taught me, though, that there are certain things you just don't tell your wife. And you just don't tell her because you're going to embarrass her. So, words of thought from the mayor. Things you do not want to do to embarrass your wife while you're in public. 1, never go to a restaurant and ask for a diet water. They don't like you doing that. Plus, it messes with the waitress, and they really have to come back and try to explain to you that they don't have it. They're very sorry, but they'll order some. 2nd, never walk into Walgreens with your wife. Walk back to the section where you might find a condom. Go up to the counter and ask the lady for a dressing room. Your wife won't like it. Trust me. Thanks to the makeup artist, you can't tell that I have any issues today. Things that you just don't want to tell your wife. Never tell her that she looked good 20 years ago, but what happened? Get you in trouble. Never, ever say the words, you're acting like your mother. That will get you thumped in more ways than you can ever imagine. If your wife decides that she wants to cut her hair, don't ask if it was with your weed whacker, because that's not good either. So those are just a few things that we got going on down in Roadkill Holler that we want everybody around the world to understand. Do not, I repeat, do not tell your wife those things. Don't embarrass your wife. Cherish her, love her, hold her close to you, because if not, the further you get away, the more the punch is going to connect with you. You all have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Mayor's Corner. Before we go, I want to talk to you one more time about a friend of ours. His name is Mark Hightower. He has Sky High Air Tours. You can find it on Facebook. And if you want any information, feel free to give him a call at 865-742-2FLY. That's 2FLY. Bob, we have a commercial for that one?
Flying higher and higher and higher.
Well, I've developed what is probably the world's worst business plan. It's not about making money. It's about taking people flying. That's my real goal. I got to make money to keep the airplane flying, but you don't own an airplane like this. An airplane like this, you're a caretaker. It's been around for 90 years, and I hope it's around for another 90 years after I'm gone. So I just got it for a period of time, and during that period of time, like I said, I'd like to just take as many people flying and share the experience of being in an open cockpit with as many people as I can. So come out and go flying with this.
Absolutely, come out and go flying. This is a great experience. You need to bring your kids to do this. You need to bring your parents to do this. You just won't have a better adventure on a Saturday afternoon.
I always appreciate a second pair of eyes. Boy, did we pick a beautiful day to go flying. I love all them white fluffy clouds.
It is an absolutely gorgeous day. Thank you for taking us up, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome.
Flying higher and higher and higher.